nice. Oh, nice to see so many faces. Okay, yeah, super. Hello, colleagues. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Yeah, today at this event, I'm really happy to see so many faces here. And my name is Andrei Kulesha. I will be a host, a moderator for the session. And today we have a joint effort between three communities, Andersen IT community, ProQuality, and Poland QE. And yeah, one more thing that I need to mention that today is Testers Day. I guess it's a great kind of celebration for this day. Yeah, just to be here together face-to-face, not just online. Yeah, coming back to the joint effort, could you please scroll to the next slide? Oh yeah, Luís, could you? Thank you. Here, you can scan the codes for our communities. It's our social networks and what you can find here. Just small things. First of all, you are upcoming meetups. Then you are able to apply for become a speaker. You can contact our core teams, and of course, just subscribe to our social networks. Next, yeah, thank you, Andersen IT community, for this space, for being here offline, and going to the event structure and agenda. What's waiting for us today? Yeah, we have two topics. The first one is Luís Dias, and we will speak about how to stand out for QA. We will start from the base, like hard skills, the core, and we will continue with soft skill, communication, understanding business needs. Then the second topic with Orlov, vertical slice architecture in test automation. We will dive into an approach that cuts across various components, enabling the testing features independently. Okay, just few formal things that I need to mention. After each talk, we will have a Q&A part. You will be able to ask your questions. For people who are online, hey guys, just put your questions into the chat and our team will send it to me and I will ask the questions to our speakers. Yeah, for people who are here offline, also, you're welcome to ask any questions. Don't be shy, be active. We have a really small gifts for you, for the most active participants. It would be great to have some questions. Okay, the next part. I need to mention that we got a couple of questions from the audience who registered, and we already processed these questions and ready to send them. We will send a follow-up email with these questions to your emails. Yeah. Of course, we are live. I need to mention that we have a recording. This recording will be available soon. And at the end of the event, we will share the feedback form. Yeah, this feedback, you're welcome, and it would be great to have any details how to improve our events for future. Okay, and of course, after the event, some networking part just to relax, grab some drinks and talk. Okay, between the talks, a short pause just to reset the things and prepare to the next event. And yeah, I guess we can start. Luís, this is Luís Dias. He's lead tester at Andersen. I guess you will introduce yourself a bit better. Yeah, okay. I guess we can start. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for your presence here. Also for the people that is online. So my pleasure with your presence here. And let's start our presentation. So today we will talk about 10 commandments to make you stand out in QA. I will start by present myself. So I'm from Portugal and I studied electronics engineering and computers. I have 8 years of QA international experience, ISTQB certified, and lead tester is my current role in Andersen. So I worked in different industries in the domain of testing, like automotive, energy, health, and kitchen. So this is the overview about me, and without wait more, I would like to share with you our agenda for today. So basically, I will give you an introduction and an overview about the topic, a kickoff slide. Then we will go for 10 commandments to differentiate a QA, then the conclusion and the open space for questions. So As introduction, what does it mean to be differentiated? What means be different? So in simple words, if you want to get what others don't, you have to do what others don't do. I put here an example famous to everyone, that it's Cristiano Ronaldo, is one of the best players of the world, also from Portugal. And this player is one of the best because of the mentality, because it's do more and more than the others. And in the end, the result is better. So Ronaldo is famous for his mentality, capacity, and this is a person that if he wants to be a basketball player, he will be one of the best basketball players in the world, because the secret is not in the skills, but also in the mindset. So starting for the first one, technical expertise beyond testing. So in a lot of projects where I work with and I saw and contact with colleagues, I saw that a lot of people in testing or in other areas, but the focus today is QA, are focused in a specific testing domain, or are manual testers, or are automated testers, or performance testers, but they are a bit difficult to be in all of them. So this is the first commandment. Try to participate in the different test levels and different test types. Here are some examples of manual tests like exploratory, regression, usability, smoke, sanity, acceptance testing, functional, and no functional testing. All of that in the domain of manual tests, but we can also be manual testers and do some stuff in terms of automation. For example, run some unit tests, integration tests, again, regression tests, because the regressions can be manual and automated, API testing, UI, smoke, and sanity too. So in the advanced slides, we will see how can we participate in different areas and techniques and behaviors that we can adapt to be involved on that areas. Let's finish this part with performance tests, with load testing, stress testing, scalability, configuration, and recovering. What's the goal from here? So we have different test types where we can participate and we can develop our expertise. Second one, here we are talking about the life cycle. So it's really important to understand the context, what we are doing. It will differentiate us. A lot of people works and don't know in what context is working. Don't know that we have a development life cycle where the testing activities are included. And inside of testing activities, we have a process itself for testing with different phases. We should try to participate actively in all phases of the test life cycle, not only simply create tests or run tests, but also in planning, in analysis, closure, and that kind of stuff. Also understand where testing is inserted and where comes from the things that we are testing. There is a process behind that. There are developers, there are the planning, analysis, design, etc. And in the end, the testers will validate the product or the object under test. So it's really, really important and differentiate, because understand the context, give you a clear overview, a big vision about the full process, not only from testing side, but also from development side. So, number 3. Here, there are 4 main points and behaviors, but it's more focused on strong analytical and problem-solving skills. So, how to learn with problems, how to develop with problems. First of all, don't accept it's fixed. Second, first try after ask, contribute to solutions discussion, and be on solution side, not in the problem side. Look to the first one. Don't accept it's fixed. What it means. Look for the first situation. Someone says, okay, it's fixed, but wrong behavior. Okay, thank you. Let's continue working. Suggestion of a good behavior and proactive one. Okay, it's fixed, but can you share with me or share an overview about the reason of this fix? It will allow you understand better technically how it was fixed, develop yourself more technically, and be more inside of the workarounds to fix any kind of solutions. Also, interacts between the team members. Another part, first try after ask. Yeah, it's quite common in projects and teams. People ask questions that are completely clear and in the first link that you search in Google. So, and it's really bad when someone asks you something and you go to Google and it's in the first link. What it means, the person hadn't any kind of effort to try to fix. The first solution for the person was, okay, let me ask to my senior tech lead, whatever. And of course, it differentiates a QA, because if you are a QA that are developing yourself, of course, you should first search and then go to ask for support, because you cannot find a solution, but already have something to offer. Okay, not comes to the person and say, I cannot fix it, please help me. No, I cannot fix it. Fix it, please help me. I already searched in Google, I found it, ChatGPT said that, but also with that kind of information, I could not fix. This approach is completely different and will change the way that you can differentiate yourself. Another one is contribute to solutions discussion. This is another point, at least that I identify in some projects, is that there are some kind of people, sometimes it's not because they don't know the technical topics, but it's more about their personality. People a bit more shy, people a bit not a lot confident to speak in the middle of a lot of persons. So, but we'll differentiate any QA from juniors to seniors, participate actively in discussions and give contributions to the solutions. Random things that can be discussed here about the automation process. Should we automate or not? Give the opinion, understand why this approach is chosen, and all of that contributions. You can see on the left side the bad behavior, where two persons are sharing solutions and give hints, one person completely quiet, and in the other side, the person gives some suggestion or asks for some approach that they are discussing. So have active participation on the solutions discussion. And of course, in the end, be on the solution side and not in the problem side. What it means? Try anytime, bring a solution. As I told in the previous example, have something to offer, not only ask for. For example, in the first one, person says that is not happy with the project, don't like to run manual tests, and it's no way to continue like that. Okay, it's identify a situation, but don't helps the other side. Second situation, exactly the same thing, different behavior, differentiated. So the person says that is not happy with a specific situation, but propose something to fix the case. Says, okay, I'm not happy with manual tests in my project, but I would like to be involved in some automation tasks or something like that. And the manager says, okay, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Let's give you 10% of your time allocated to be involved in automation tasks. So completely different approach, completely differentiated persons. So now, number 4, here we talk about collaborating the test strategy and test plan creation. So in some projects, QAs are really focused on design tests, run tests, create reports, etc., but have no clear idea about the test strategy and test plan. So that are two critical documents where the tester should be aware, should understand what is there, and as much as possible collaborate on the creation of that document. Understand and improve test documentation. So here it's about look for the document that we are creating, like test design, test reviews, other kind of documents, try to improve them and understand why we are using that. Not use only the documents because the previous colleagues already use it, the previous one already used it, and we are using because they are using it. No. Ask the documents, understand if we can improve them, and understand why are we using them, and if it's adding value to your project or not. Not use just because of yes. Then, and one of the most important things, focus on high quality. So high quality must be present in all small tasks that we have. So anything that science create tests, science requirement analysis, anything must be in high quality and doing the things exactly correctly as much as possible. To help this, we have the creation of templates and checklists that allow us to follow the high quality. of course, we can create it for the team itself, and we will be used officially in the project, or we can create them for ourselves and use for ourselves. For example, I create my test case, I have my checklist, and I look for that before pass them to the second phase. It will save my site, oh, I forgot something or anything like that. And this is the commandment number 4. So now the number 5, about continuous learning and adaptability. So learn different technologies, be able and flexible to do tasks out of routine, and explore different areas. Let's have a look in all of them. About technologies, as you know, we have a lot of technologies in terms of QA. The tools for manual automation, for scripting, for test management, programming, etc., etc. So how much more tools you have in your, let's say, portfolio, more value you will have, more differentiated you will be. And it can be combined with the topic referred before. Participate in manual tests, automated tests, performance tests, and it's completely directly related with the tools that we have there. So with different tools, we are also able to run different positions and will bring value for us and will differentiate each QA as a person and as a professional, of course. And it's a way that we will learn, for example, a technology, then another one, and then another one. Sometimes it's only enough to have some small project. I mean, for example, it's completely different if someone speaks about one tool, one of the most famous, Jira. If you never work with Jira, you will heard about that and it will be strange. But if you did a small stuff with that 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, you at least have a perception about the interface, about the features. It's completely different experience or not, since it is a small experience. Then another one is be able and flexible to do tasks out of routine. So in my opinion, it's one of the most important topics for nowadays. So because as you can see on that 2 pictures, the persons don't want to do things out of their job. So they just want, as you can see, for example, in this one, they are intubating and they say, no, our work is not to remove stones. And okay, we pass over the stone and that's fine. If the stone is bigger, it will be bigger. And yeah, it was strange. Passing it for our context is exactly the same. As QAs, it can be passed to other roles, of course, but the focus today is the QAs. Sometimes it's needed to do some documentation, some stuff that we are not really love it to do. But it's part of our job. Otherwise, we will be persons that are doing this to the stone. So, and it's not so good, I guess. And of course, it differentiates you, but from the negative side. This flexibility will allow you also work in different roles and responsibilities. Then the continuous learning and adaptability refer to explore different areas, not only focus on the QA, but to differentiate you, be participating also in other areas. For example, technical interviews, it's not directly related with the project itself, where we create tests or design tests, but it's related with tests if you interview testers. It's a differentiation thing. Sales activities, conferences, speaker, resource manager, and lead. So all of that extra activities are not directly related with a specific project, but are activities that add value and differentiate you for other QAs that only and limit itself just to running tests in their projects. So let's go to the number 6. And here, another important part in the differentiations. Communicate very well is one of the key points that you will see in the next slides. Be supportive and give continuous feedback. So here, importance of communication. So imagine in this case, sorry, but the balls are switched. Checkout is broken, so it says nothing to me, okay? So if I'm working in another thing or not other context, it says absolutely nothing for me. Compared to that side where checkout button not working. QA found the issue in the mobile app during the smoke tests where the button was unresponsive. So With the other side, I can understand exactly what happens, what, who, where, and when. It's completely clear and is exactly the same information. On this case, we are about provide context, so enough for understanding. Login test failed, so it's completely generic and hard to understand. In the other side, while I run smoke tests for easy fin, bank the test, login valid credentials failed in Chrome, on Windows, etc., etc. So give a context of that. What project, what test types, what test, and it will allow the person understand completely what are we talking about on this case. Next one is avoid heavy adjectives. So to communicate, in my opinion, adjectives sometimes are really not friends of the communication. No one cares if you think that it's catastrophic, if it's beautiful. No one cares about that in the context of clear communication. You can see there the transaction endpoint experienced a catastrophic service degradation event. And the other side, short, objective, and clear. Test failed because the API returned 500 instead of 200. Direct, clear, and short. So another example, it's about keep sentences short and clear. You are working in an international environment where people have different cultures, different languages, different ways of speaking, different speaking tones. So it's quite important to keep the sentence short and clear. We can be really good speaking English, but the other side could not be so expert. So, and the communication is done between two sides, not from one side to other side, but bidirectional. And then, if you are not comfortable or the situation is not completely clear for us, we should re-ask or retake. Imagine, someone says something, you don't understand well, but you say, sure. And the person thinks that you understand, but you don't understand nothing. By other hand, you can say, okay, but just to confirm, let me know if you said this, this, and this. Both are valid, but in the second one, you can recheck if the meaning and the message was completely passive and understood as expected. Then make ideas concrete. For example, search filter is wrong. Again, generic, not clear, no context, nothing easy to understand. Second one, the search filter fails. Searching red shoes returns blue shoes. Absolutely clear. This is exactly the same situation, but people with different approaches and positions. And it for sure will differentiate a lot. Then, be supportive. Here we are talking about support others and accept support from others. It's really important, and you have any situations like that. For example, situation one, your tests failed again. Check it. Or other side, the tests failed. I can help investigate, and if it was caused by a recent code change. So already giving a hint to the person and offer some support also without asking. Then the same in this case. So this release is a disaster. Or other approach. We have 5 critical bugs. Let's prioritize and see what we can fix before the delivery. It's completely different approach and completely different behavior creation, interaction between the team, and the differentiation from you and let's say a normal situation. Look, compare one and other, and you can see clearly who is differentiated for assume the position, give the support, assume a good communication, and have a constructive posture on this case. It's also very differentiated. Then another one, install the stuff and get to work. So it's maybe for someone that it's ramping up on the project, first days, let's starting. Well, so not positive on my side. Another approach, if you need some help with the test environment, let me know. I have a quick guide that can help. The person offer capacity to help, offer a quick guide to help, but also at the same time gives to the other person opportunity to try by themselves. So, and the last one is about continuous feedback. Feedback is a great tool but a really dangerous tool, because if it's wrongly used, it can be so bad. There are a lot of people that have no capacity to work with feedback. There are a lot of people that are not able to receive feedback because for them, feedback is a personal attack, is someone that is identified bad things, etc., etc. Feedback is a great opportunity to improve because it's easy. Someone comes to you and say, "Oh, you are the best. You're doing good. You do it bad. You do it good, etc., etc." But someone that have capacity and possibility to go to you and say, "Okay, you are good on this, this, and this, but you can improve on this area, and this area." It's important to more than communicate feedback. It's easy accept feedback and understand and reflect about this. Here we have a framework to give feedback, probably know, feedback wrapper, that differentiate 5 stages of feedback: context, observations, feelings, value, and suggestions. Here you can see example. Basically, in the context, we give what the context of this feedback, why I'm giving this feedback. For example, I'm tech lead and I'm giving this context in the case of this project. Observations, what I see. You quickly adapt it to the workflow, complete your assigned tasks, and demonstrating strong technical skills. What I see in this person. The impact. This had a positive effect on the team productivity and reduces the learning curve we usually face with new members. The value of that action, your fast ramp up and solid competencies add value to the project and strengthen the team overall performance. And in the end, a request, like space for improvements, like one area for improvement is communication. I encourage you to share your progress and blockers more proactively so collaboration becomes even smoother. And this is an example of the application of feedback wrap framework. So let's pass to the number 7. And in this case, we will talk about business context. It's also a thing that can differentiate a lot QAs, and in my opinion and experience, more rare thing in terms of, let's say, projects. Read and know about company goals and results, know your product business context, and show contributions to company goals. First of all, in all companies that I worked until now, all of them share information about the company business. Some of them monthly, some of them yearly, depends. In any case, a lot of people don't care nothing about that. So I don't care about the company profit, company growth, company goals. Just do my job and don't care about the rest. It's a really differentiated thing when you learn and know, okay, the company is growing, the company is having more profit, the company is having more clients, expanding to different countries. So all of that information are good to understand also the reflect of your work and understand what direction is your company going. Then, other important thing, understand what we are testing. Understand the history of our product. Can be a device, can be a website, can be a page, can be anything. But there is a story behind that. It don't come for us randomly, and we started testing that. You can see here an example of a computer with the different versions during the time. And there are some questions that you can have a look for them. For example, what are the customers that are buying these kind of devices? How much profit we have from that devices? Some of that informations are public, some of that informations are not. Of course, the publics you can access anytime, the others depends on the company, etc., etc. But at least be open to this kind of topics is really important and differentiated, because in a lot of projects, people don't know what product is testing. Let's say, know the product, but don't know the business history. Why this product exists? How are the old versions and things like this? And then about contribute to the company goals. Let's look to this example. In this case, we have a goal. The company says, okay, we want to have 70% of our QAs with ISTQB certification. It's a common goal in a lot of companies. And we have the first position. Okay, I don't want to do that because I'm too busy with my project. And besides that, they don't ask for 100%. So I will include myself in 30%, and I don't need to study anything like that. Second situation. So, great opportunity to develop myself and at the same time contribute to company goals. So, with one shot, 2 goals. And here you can see how differentiate again. Assume and contribute to company goals, or simply say, okay, it takes a lot of work, I'm focused on my tasks, I don't care about that. And they said 70%, okay, I can be in 30%. Someone needs to do no, let's say. So, number 8. Knowledge automate tasks, know automate tasks in general, understand scripting, and contribute with automation solutions. So, first of all, it's about know automate tasks in general, what it means. Try to have each time sensibility to understand in our projects what can be improved in terms of tasks and repetitive processes, and give these suggestions. As we saw before, participate actively in suggestions, solutions creations, etc., etc. So have this sensibility. It don't means that your idea will be implemented, but means that you are interested and participate on the discussions. Then about understand scripting. In a lot of projects, we use scripts to automate anything, whatever. But there are not a lot of people that have the care and interest to understand what is inside of that files. They use that as a black box. I run it, I put this, and I got this, and I don't care about nothing more. So, differentiation here. Understand the script. You don't need to be the expert of the script, of course, but at least understand as overview what is being done there, what processes are taken care inside, actions, etc., etc. Then, contribute with automation solutions. So, in this part, we are talking about give solutions for that, and also is included here create scripts, because you can be QAs, also manual QAs, but you can have automation skills. You can know how to program in Python, for example, and create a script that will automate, for example, the review of the test design, also in case of manual testers. So, commandment number 9, here, proactivity is the main goal, the owner of your career, and take decisions. So, be proactive is absolutely differentiated. In this case, I mean, no one should care of you more than you. And managers can help, but can't do for you. So, all of that stuff of participate on meetings, give solutions, communicate well, etc., etc. So, you could not expect that the company will give you trainings to develop yourself, etc., because the people is quite different and each person has specific parts to develop. So you should be proactive and identify your areas to improve, your areas that you want to go on, and develop yourself. If you don't do that, no one will do for you. Then be the owner of your career. Define your goals, break down your goals, define the way to reach them, and track the progress until complete them. It's quite important because a lot of people is just surviving, not living. It means that they are only working, they are not developing. One thing is when you are working, but you don't know where you want to be in 2 years, you don't know what are your goals, you don't know, you are here, just doing. Other thing is you define exactly what you want, define your goals inside the company, inside the project, for you itself, and understand how can you reach them and go on this direction. And in the end, take decisions, because all of that processes imply us to take some decisions, define the way in short term, in long term, and avoid loss in decision time. So be with a lot of doubts, and I don't know if I should learn Python or C# and be here in the middle, and takes a lot of time to take a decision. So simply start and avoid spend a lot of time thinking about the topics. And the number 10 and the last one, it's about specializations and skills. So from the point of view of the QAs, ISTQB certification, as all of you know, is one of the international certification most known and most valuable for the companies in general. So We have the foundation level, that it's common in the big part of the QAs. We have the advanced level, and you also have expert level. So how much big you go, how much more differentiated you will be. Second one is about languages for different projects. I put here English, French, and German, but it's completely random. Could be others, but how much more communicative and different ways to speak you are, more opportunities you will have for you. And in the end, work in different industries. Try automotive, energies, health, finance, games, retail, manufacturing, media. So it will allow you to have a different perspective about the rules and guidelines from different industries instead of be all time in the same. So in terms of conclusions, maybe you are asking, okay, everyone will be equal if everyone differentiates themselves. And if everyone follows what I present today, everyone will be differentiated, everyone will be equal, consequently. Yeah, you are absolutely right. But there is a point. The difficulty of that is keep the habits, because a lot of people, after learn or know about that, in the next week do all of this. So they turn the best in the world. In 2 weeks, only 50% of the people continue the process. In 2 months, only 20% of the people continue, and during the time, the people will forgetting, losing, etc. So it's about consistency and habits. It's a daily choice. It's a daily work. And here I put to you a graph just to explain and give you an overview. How is more or less the graph of, let's say, standard employee, and how is the graph of differentiated employee. Look to the differentiated employee is not expert in all areas. It's not possible be the best in everything, but have a bigger range, as you can see, and also some weak points that should be improved. But in any case, it's not only focused in one part and the rest really, really negative. So, and pointing that, let's say thank you all, and I open space for questions.
Yeah, Luís, thank you for this presentation. I guess that's a great opportunity for everybody just to review your behavior, maybe to reconsider your self-development and plan some courses or even pass ISTQB exam. So yeah, we have a couple of questions from the online audience. So people here, if you would like to ask anything, just raise your hands after the questions. So the first one, let me read that. What do you think about European market? Are there much opportunities for QA specialists, or it's small compared to US and Canada?
So I will answer based on my experience, of course. So yes, I guess there are opportunities in both sides, but depends a bit on the location and the culture, because when you are working in different continents and different places like that, the behavior and the work policy is quite different. In my opinion, the opportunities are everywhere for the people that it's growing, developing, etc. If you are good in Europe, you will be good in the United States. So it's not directly about the location, but more about the person itself.
Okay, thank you. And the second one, which of these 10 commandments that you mentioned are the most important for you, and what did you struggle with the most with some of them?
Yeah, so it's hard to say what is the most important, because you cannot say that we can remove the others and keep only one. So my favorite is the communication, because I guess the communication is the key point for all the others, but of course all of them are important. In terms of the commitments that I face that are missing are some of them. So it's hard to say the most common is that one or that one. So there are different number of people that are failing in different commandments.
Okay, thank you. I guess that's it from the online side. Guys, do you have any questions here? Yeah, please. Could you? Oh, okay. Let me come to you. It would be great if you introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Alana, and I have a question. You mentioned about test plan and test strategy, and I totally agree how important it is. But usually our deadlines are for yesterday. and we don't have the time basically to review them or to have a look and think about them. We just need to dive into testing straight away. How do you deal with these situations?
Thank you for your question. So here, when we talk about test plan and test strategy, I completely understand that sometimes the deadlines are for yesterday, but you can see the test plan after yesterday, because here it's not about the review, the test plan. It is about being involved and know that test plan exists. In some projects, people don't know what is a test plan. So that are different things. One thing is the test plan itself, formally, where we have people creating that, and it really needs a review, and it's followed the normal process. Another thing is people in the team that are not involved directly in the creation of test plan. Normally, juniors are not included on that kind of tasks, but they can look for this document when they have some time. For example, in the day after the release, to see what we have in the test plan, what is this, what our project is following, and things like that. This is the point here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Tatiana.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Could you please share some situation with us, maybe from your working experience, with some maybe advice related to soft skills solution the situation? Maybe you have some example, for example.
But example of develop the skills?
Develop the situation maybe with soft skill like side, or maybe I was just thinking some person who inspire you their own behavior in this situation. Maybe you would like to lead someone.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I got to other question, but you asked about situations that I face based on my experience. Yeah, honestly, I saw some situations, and this presentation was based on this kind of situations. I'm not speaking about Andersen. I'm speaking about all my experience in the different companies that I was, and different projects and colleagues that I speak with other places, and we share these kind of things, and it's really true. But sometimes the people don't know about that because no one asks about this. But for example, if you ask in a team, what is a test in a team, you already saw the test plan of our project, probably will have a big part of the people that have no idea about this. This is one case. And for me, it's really bad, in my opinion. It's one example, of course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And one more question.
Hi, I'm Aurora, and my question is, imagine a project that is an organizational mess. Everybody is just doing their test cases and they don't really care. And my question is, what would be your first initiative on such project? What would you do to make the organization and workflow better?
Yeah, so that kind of things in principle must be defined in the planning, because we are planning our testing activities and we need to have the processes well defined. So when we have a project that it's completely random, completely anyone does what wants and things like that, I absolutely recommend, of course it should be done in advance, but if it's missing, create a central documentation where we have the process exactly explained, but explain it in a clear way, without space for doubts, without space for interpretations, anything, and explain it step by step, like for babies, how to work in this project. So first task, you should be here, you should analyze the requirements, how to analyze the requirements, like this, like this, like this. Next stage, and things like that, yeah. And it must be clear for everyone in the same place. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Luís, do you have a time for one more question?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we have a question from the online. What do you think about switching a role from software testing automation engineer to software development and test?
Yeah, so from my point of view, I guess that kind of things are more about, let's say, psychological barriers. I guess that imagine, at least I also have this situation. Imagine you have a lot of psychological barriers to switch. For example, I'm manual QA, how I will be as automation QA, or I'm tester, how I will be in developer. So my vision nowadays is more about, so I'm a professional and I'm able to learn everything. So I can be manual QA, I can be automated, I can be developer. So and in this case, it's more about the people motivations, the people capacity, and mostly than ever, I guess nowadays the work market, not only in IT but in general, the life jobs finish it. So, and the most adaptive people will have success. The people that stays only in one range of things and the tasks or activities will not be able forever, because the things changed a lot and so fast.
Okay, super, super. Any other questions? Oh, yeah, Alena.
Thank you. Yeah. As a QA lead, if you would have to choose between two candidates, one has a strong soft skills, one hard skills, which one would you choose?
Without doubt, the soft skills.
Okay, could you explain why?
Yes, for sure, because imagine, of course, it depends a bit of the context, because if you tell me about, imagine that, I have two persons, one soft skills top, another hard skills tops, but it's for a project, time limited of 2 months, just do a service and something short, okay, hard skills is enough. But if I can, I try must and more the soft skills, because the soft skills are part of your personality, part of your growth, and part of your development. And to develop a soft skill as a natural behavior takes years. But to learn Python takes weeks or months. So you understand my point? I can teach you hard skills to anyone in weeks, but I cannot teach you to be communicative, responsible in weeks. It's impossible. You will do it not in a natural way, and in the end, after 1 or 2 months, you will lose this forced behavior. So for me, I give more value for sure for soft skills.
Okay, great. One more question. Sorry.
Hello. The question is might be a little bit similar to Alena's question. My name is Oля, by the way.
Welcome.
Thank you. So if there is a candidate who really loves to dive deep into details and into exploration of what's going on in the app, but sometimes he or she can be so involved in it that forgets about the time. And maybe we have limits in time. We often have limits in time. So it's the bug feature. Should such a candidate get rid of this behavior or stay as it is if it's very natural behavior?
So can you explain better the question, please?
So a person really loves to go into details and to explore the bug. For example, why is it happening? Where is it happening? Is it happening in this version of application or that? Or for example, Chrome versions or something like that.
Yeah.
But he sometimes he's too involved in it that forgets about the time.
Yeah.
So time limit, for example, we have to test for 4 hours, but 4 hours he will explain in this bug and just forget about this.
Yeah.
Time limits.
Yeah, it's related about other skill, that it's about manage the effort according to time. Yeah. So, and in this case, I'm not sure if you are talking about a junior or senior, etc. But we should have someone that will take care about the time. Daily meetings will also help to understand if you are in time or not. And of course, someone needs to show to this person that, okay, we need to have here a balance, okay? And as I told, it don't need to be a switch immediately. For example, now I don't care about nothing, and tomorrow I will care about everything, all details, etc. No, it's going. And in some time, it will take about some details, more, and more. And it's important, of course, someone explain to this employee that, okay, look, we have times, it's important to have this posture, but it's a thing that you need to work during the time. It's not a thing that you need to switch in 1 or 2 weeks, because you will not be able to do that. And of course, when we are doing this in ramping in the time, when you reach some level, it will be completely fast to have this behavior and go to the details quickly and don't affect the project times.
I say it's an experience question and a question of to look after yourself to you or not. Too deep.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Super. I guess we can finish. So yeah, Luís, thank you one more time.
Thank you. And thank you all for your presence. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for your questions. Now let's have a short break. I guess it will be a couple of minutes while we just reset the things. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Как в школе. Меня же слышно, точно.
Okay, while we're waiting. So I have just a few things to mention. The first one about the event details and email follow-up. We will send a follow-up after the event. It will contain the recording, the presentations, and of course, our links and feedback form. So yeah, as usual, it would be great to have your feedback. Okay, and also we have a couple of stickers for everybody. They are available here on our small desk, but yeah, if you would like to take it, just come and take. So I hope it will color maybe your laptops or something like that. Yeah, super. I guess we have enough for everybody. Okay, and I guess we will start in 30 seconds.
Sorry.
Maybe you could open this slide where those links were. If it's okay, if it's not okay.
Okay, I guess we can start. So our next topic is class architecture and test automation. Let me introduce our speaker. Roman, you're welcome.
No, thank you.
Roman Orlov is lead software testing engineer, and we are going to talk about some hints in architecture for test automation. So yeah, Roman, let's start.
Yeah, I think we'll talk a bit later about it. Yeah, hello everyone. Yes, thank you very much. Wave hand to the online. Yeah, you can do it as a response. I cannot see you, but I appreciate it. Yeah, okay, so, oh my God, head-wired microphones. Feels like I'm having a stand-up. Okay, maybe one day, not today, definitely. Today we're going to talk about vertical slice architecture and test automation, but before we can start our topic, our speech, could you please guys share with me your experience? So who of you is involved to the test automation or coding stuff? Okay, nice. That's great. Yeah, so for others who is not familiar with that so much, you can learn new technology, as Luís said for us to do that. And yeah, let's start actually. No need to, okay. Yeah. So my name is Roman. I'm a lead software test automation engineer in the small Indian company called EPAM. Maybe you heard about it. And here is my, contact information. So there is my blog where I post something sometimes, not so often as I would like to, but yeah, as we have what we have. And Telegram, if you want to contact me about the any question regarding this topic or many actually about the professional career, then yeah, feel free to contact me. Don't hesitate. Okay, let's continue and let's talk about our agenda. So yeah, I would be pretty fast today because I haven't been practicing this topic for a year maybe. So Don't confuse about it. Yeah, so first of all, today we are talking about the understanding of layered architecture in test automation. It might be a bit conflicting with the previous speaker about the scripting, but I will try to deliver my idea of how I can see the perfect architecture of test automation framework for that. Then we will discuss the idea behind the vertical slices. So I believe that most of you know about the slices itself, but what is vertical slices, right? So we do not know right now. When to apply this approach. So this is a very important thing, because we cannot just go to the project and say, hey, I've heard about the vertical slice architecture, let's do that right now. This is not correct, actually. See the examples. Yeah, this is the most important part for us. If you are involved with the code, I will show you how it could be organized inside your project, and what actually interesting things we have for the project inside. And conclusions. Yeah, so the conclusions is the last topic for this one, and for sure Q&A. So the topic is pretty hard, I would say. So please feel free to write down your question if you have some, because you can just forget about it. Okay, let's start. And for the first topic, we are talking about the layered architecture. So what it is and how it could be delivered. So what is the context of the discussing topic, right? So first of all, we are talking about large components and large systems. So if you are working in the enterprise and you have a microservice architecture in your application or in your project, so you're in the right place. Yeah, feel free to continue to listen to that. Okay, and technical concerns that we are going to consider during the sliced architecture and vertical sliced architecture as a detailed. For the first one, authorization, right? So every application should have the authorization, because we want to identify the anonymous users, the user roles, so on. Yeah, so a lot of things that are pretty individually for project to project. So yeah, we can say that this is a different component, the separate component that is different for everyone, and we need to consider that we need to implement this authorization stuff differently from the previous project. Yeah, you cannot just copy paste the code. That is actually upsetting. Okay, data access, right? So sometimes you have no data access for your component, for your microservice or application, but usually you have, and it can be organized by different ways. So you have, for example, several databases. You can have different databases in the different environments. There's also the working scenario as well. And we need to consider that we should somehow to organize our code, to make it clean, to make it readable for everyone, and to think about how we should implement our architecture, not to make it over hard, right, for us. Next thing is validation, and it's mostly about the validation models. Like when you have an API call, for example, you have the validation. I'm not talking about business logic here, but on the validation, like this field is correct or not correct. This field contains these rules, and so on, so on. So this is about the models validations only. And as you can see, if you are involved in development, we have a lot of data models, and we have a lot of validations there. So it could be data transfer objects, it could be domain models, it could be some different stuff. Yeah, okay. And the business logic, right? So I mentioned it already, but I was talking about validation, and now I'm talking about the business rules. So every application has business rules to be implemented to deliver the task for user, to deliver the solution for user, right? So user has a task, he needs a solution, we provide to him this solution. This is about business logic. So this is a technical concern. And the result of this actually is pretty obvious, I would say, yeah? Maybe not, but let's see. First of all, time to deliver. So when we have too many components, time to deliver is increased. So the many components you have, time to deliver is much more from day to day. This might be a problem actually, but anyway, it is not the only problem. So the second problem is large context. So when you try to deliver a new feature, for example, or try to refactor the existing one, you are considering to change the code, and you need to load this code into your head for a moment, or maybe for several moments. sometimes for days, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for years. Yeah, it happens everywhere. Okay, then a routine. So when we are talking about the code and development and maintaining, we are providing some kind of routine tasks that could help us to maintain our code. And that is a key point. Yeah, so this is the most time-consumable problems that a large system has, actually. So let's see how we can make our life easier. Maybe easier. Okay, real examples, right? So I tried to consider the examples from my real life, from the previous projects. But I didn't remember everything of them. Yeah, okay, so first of all, one day a customer get to us and said that he wants to add a new field that contains just a user address. So pretty simple, right? Seems pretty simple. But our developers said that estimation for that was a year. Why? Yeah, because the code was pretty messy and there is a lot of complicated structure there, so it becomes really harder. And there, another example, eternal bug fix. So, for example, you try to fix you try to fix one bug and produces another one. Yeah, who remembers the meme when you just switch the bug and another one is switched on? Yeah. See, okay, so it's about this one. Yeah, so when you just fix one code and yeah, you can just provide a new bug, introduce a new bug. And actually that was a real example in my career, that our developer fixed one bug, and then in next pull request he returned the same line of code to the previous state. So he fixed, okay, he produces the new bug, and when he fixed it, he returned an old one and fixed a new one. So yeah, that's how it works in the chaotic systems. And duplicated code for sure. So if you are working with test automation, I believe this pretty oftenly faced problem with the test automation frameworks, when you have a lot of files, a lot of steps, a lot of business behavior description, and duplicated code is a part of our life. So maybe yeah, when you try to refactor some scenario or try to reconstruct something, yeah, you need to change more than 10 files for writing the same scenario, or to refactor the existing one. Yeah, that's how it works. This is how the real examples of the problems are. And what is the idea of vertical slices? Okay, let's delve into it and try to understand. To start with that, we are talking about the classic layers. So when we're talking about the test automation and code organization, what we want to have, we are expecting to see the layers in test automation. It helps us to, to make an abstractions between the layers, to make the code responsible only for one part. So I mean that one class have one part, and I believe this conception is pretty obvious, and you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, let's start. So every test automation framework in my head, and actually not in my head, in the real projects as well, because I use this model actively. Every project in test automation has a domain models. So domain models is the layer that tries to describe the real world. I mean that when we execute the scripts or we're trying to test something, we are not acting separately from the user, right? So we want to deliver value to the user, and we need to consider his needs. We need to consider something that he would be solving. And it means that our main consumer is our client, right? So we do not want to provide just a simple scripting or just complete the test cases. We want to think about how the world around us is organized, and that is what domain models is about. Yeah. So for example, to describe this building right now, yeah, how many heights we have, how many windows, so on and so on. This is about domain models. When we're talking about the test automation framework, then domain models is pretty specific thing that is in our framework, in our head, in our understanding, but the contracts with the API or with UI layers are different. And that's why we need adapters and representations. So representations here is about something like data transfer objects. Yeah, do you know what a data transfer object is? Yeah, please, heads your up. No, one person. Okay. So something like contracts. When you have an API call, right, you can get you can post a body inside, and the body consists of the JSON that has a pretty simple structure. So this structure called a data transfer object. It's responsible for storing information in the defined format that we want to provide. And adapters layer helps us to convert domain models to representations and representation to domain models. So pretty simple, right? Then, after we are done with the representations, we have a layer of request handlers or UI libraries if we're talking about UI test automation framework. So request handlers just helps us to assemble the requests of the required state, let's say so, right? So HTTP request handlers knows what, for example, what method we should call, what endpoint, what parameters this request has, and so on, so on. Yeah, so we are describing it like that. And then HTTP request itself. So it contains the parameters that we try to pass inside the test, right? So when we have a test, then we pass it to the requests, and requests storing these objects into the separate objects or page object, actually, if we're talking about the UI, so the same thing here. And then request handlers or UI libraries knows how to handle this information on the lower levels, right? So how to implement these calls and how to get the response to you. Okay, so API clients, that is actually another layer that is responsible for storing the metadata, right? So if here we have a requests parameters, then API clients has some kind of meta information. It has a context of who is executing this or that script or this or that request, how it is being executed, what the, for example, default headers are for this or that service. So this layer can help us to organize a microservice architecture because we can provide several API clients for different services, and it becomes easier to just maintain, to use in our test automation stuff. And the last one, so okay, which layer I forgot? Maybe you already have an idea. Logs? No, tests. We're talking about test automation here, and I forgot tests for sure. Yeah, it is, the lower one, the lowest one, but not the unimportant. Yeah, last but not least. Yes, thank you. Okay, if that's it, actually, I don't think so. Yeah, so if we try to draw the dependencies between each layers, then a perfect framework should have only one directional one directional dependencies in each other. So, for example, here we can see that domain models are the mostly used layer in test automation framework. It is used by tests, by API clients, by requests, by request handlers, adapters. But yeah, the key thing is that we have only one direction here. So it is only test cannot depends on the domain models, and domain models cannot depend on the test at the same time. So it is pretty hard in practice, but I think it is possible to do such kind of thing. Yeah, I will talk a little bit about that later. But let's imagine that we have only one direction of the dependencies. Okay, so the order is important okay, what the thing that I'm talking about right now is important not only for us as the developers, as the testers, but it is important for other professions as well. Yeah, as an example, I just can show you several quotes from the guys who were proficient architecture. So, for example, this one, to create architecture is to put in order what, functions, and objects. And yeah, this is architecture. Who is constructing the buildings, like we are in, and architect talking about the single directions that I just mentioned from the previous slide, right? So to create, put in order. Next one, yeah, another architecture, that is talking about the single responsibility. Form must have a content, and that content must linked with the nature, yeah? So this is the idea that was behind the layers as separate objects, right? As you can remember, I mentioned that we every layer has a single responsibility, and we shouldn't provide several responsibilities for each layer. So layer is responsible for only one thing, and we should keep it in mind when we are developing the tests. Another thing, design is a plan for arranging elements in such a way as best to accomplish a particular purpose. So designer talking about avoiding circular dependencies, right? It means that we do not depend from each other. Every component should depend only perfectly only from one component, but maybe sometimes there's an exclusion. We'll talk a bit later about it. Okay, let's see code examples. Let's try to do, let me take some water. Okay, let's go. So, are you ready? Nice. Let's go with the Java code examples. Actually, I haven't been programming Java for years, but doesn't matter. You can implement such a structure, doesn't matter what language of programming you use. So I use the same pattern in TypeScript, for example. You can use it in any other, in Python, in C# if you want, in C++ maybe. So feel free to just try to implement it as an exercise at home and maybe in project. Why not? Yeah, so if we're talking about the example on Java, so we have definitely several folders that contains different files. Yeah, right. So API contains the files related to your requests, responses, to describing your contracts, so on, so on. So it is all related to the HTTP requests that we are trying to test. Configuration folder consists of the several files that includes the configuration inside, right? For example, framework configuration, like what the timeout should be, what the URLs for, I don't know, Swagger, for example, should be, so on, so on. And that's about config. You can have several config files, like you can have an environment config files, you can have a different services config files, maybe a different file for a different service, like that. Controllers is such kind of how to say it, setup of API folders. So controllers just collect several requests to make it easier to handle inside the test itself. Yeah, so it is much more convenient, much more easier for you to understand the code that is written in style of controllers than just a scripting that calls this or that file from API folder. Yeah, just for structuring. And models. The last one that was that was on the previous slide that was on the top. We are talking about models that consist of the data transfer objects, our contracts, and our domain models as well. So this is usually how the typical structure of the framework looks like. So what is the problem there, right? So for example, if I want to refactor something, hardcore part is coming. I need to open different files. So for example, if I want to change a user request behavior, then I need to open different files from different folders. And you can see here, so this is different. This is a very large amount of files from different folders that are in different places. And that is actually not so good for context, right? So if you mentioned, if you remember, I mentioned the context that it is a large, and we need to keep in mind many things right now. Yeah, so we need to open at least 5 files here, and they're in the different places. So we are pretty messed with that. Okay, let's go to the problems. Rework many folders and projects. Yeah, I hope that I clearly delivered this idea to you, and you saw that this is true, and we can just be mess with the amount of files we need to change for that or this feature. Then we need to interpret anything, right? So when you have a separate bunch of files, you cannot have just a scenario of using in your head. You need just to see the code and try to understand it. And this is a problem because you cannot be sure that this exact behavior are responsible for what you are trying to test and what test data you are trying to set up, actually. So, only if you are familiar with the project, then you are sure for definitely, yeah. But if not, then the result might be unexpected. Transparency, right? So when you have such kind of when you have a lot of files, you cannot see that you fixed every place that needs to be fixed for this or that feature. So when you try to develop a new feature, when you try to deliver a new test, when you try to refactor a test, an existing test, you cannot say that you definitely rewrite all the files you need that need to be rewritten. So this is a problem also. And actually my favorite one, newcomers, right? So when a newcomers came to the project, you need to explain everything to them. And a lot of files, a lot of folders, the structure, how it is look like, what the behavior of the product is, and so on, so on. So this is a lot of information, and it might take weeks when a newcomer just understand everything about this project and start to perform the required tests. Okay, so what I propose to do with that is vertical slices. Maybe not I, but this approach is borrowed from the development world. And if you just Google the development vertical slice in development, then you will see a lot of articles, a lot of videos regarding that. But that was the idea that I found useful for the test automation as well. So what I propose to do, let's go back to our layers. This is horizontal layers. And now I want you, not you, abstract you, to divide these slices to the different pieces, to the different small pieces of functionality. Like, for example, you can use it as for users, for to-do list, and actually for different domains. So now, if we are talking about this diagram, this chart, you can definitely see that this small amount of pieces is responsible for users, this for to-dos, and this for any other functionality that you have in your application. That's how it works. Yeah, in idea. Let's actually see how it is working in code examples. So, for example, we introduce a new folder, maybe not new, but it is this is the only folder that we should have in our test automation project, and other folders that were configs and other stuff, so they are just deprecated. So we have features here, and features are different, so we can definitely see the to-dos here, maybe some other domain areas below, but yeah, below is not captured in this screenshot. And when we're talking about to-dos, for example, we can clearly see that we have some actions, we have some DB connections, we have domain model, and we have pages. Yeah. So just look into this folder. What we can talk about this part of the main layer, right? We can see that we have some actions like UI actions. We have some API actions. We have some repository that could help to connect us to the database, to maybe to grab some data from there. Doesn't matter. We have a domain model that can describe the what fields this to-do has, for example, what actions they could have, and so on, so on. And the same about pages, right? So we can see that this domain area is also have a UI part, and we can clearly see it from the structure. Just from the structure, I didn't open any file of that. I just look into this code and to this folders, to these files, and I can see that already. Yeah, so this information is pretty useful for me, and this is pretty straightforward to get into that. Okay, yeah, this is another example. Yeah, so for example, for users, we can see the same folders, maybe not the same but different. For example, if you Notion, then you cannot see DB part in the users folder, right? It means that we cannot connect to the database with users and grab some data from there, for example, right? But anyway, we still have a clear picture of what users can do. Right, we have actions, we have domain, we have contracts, we have mappers that can provide for us the transformation logic from representation and vice versa. We have requests that is pretty easier to understand as well. So we have get user, get user request, post user for creating user, so on, so on. So this is how it looks like in the in the IDE. And the key points of that, yeah, maybe not so technically deep, but I think it is good. comments are stored separately, right? So when we are talking about some kind of intersections between domain layers, we need to think about how we should store it. So for example, okay, I'm out of examples for for this one, but I'm talking about the situation when you have two domain areas and the third one is dependent for both of them, right? So this is a part of A and B, and these comments should be stored separately because it is shared between the two domain areas, two domain components, and you need to make it common, and for that you need to extract it to some other place, not to that one. Domain-related logic has its own feature folder that was pretty clear, I believe, and the pretty good thing there that we already can imagine the structure of what we have in our application. Actions are independent, right? So it means for us that this action could be provided even if you have not enough test data, for example, or it is not dependent from the another entity. Like, for example, you need to create entity A, then you need to create entity B based on A, then you need to create entity C based on A and B, yeah, because C is dependent on that. Yeah, so actions should be independent. When you provide an action, you should take care about when you create the C entity, you should verify that A and B already exist in the system, and if not, then you need to create them. So this is how we work with the test data preparation and other stuff. And yeah, so looks like a fairy tale, right? So you can just go to the project and see, hey, I know a cool idea. Yeah, yesterday I've heard it in the Meetup at Andersen. But actually, is it true? I think no, because we have several scenarios in the business when we shouldn't use that structure because of the limitations and actually overloading for everything. Yeah, so when you have too many dependencies in domain models, this structure is not suitable at all, actually, because you try to mess with each other, and it becomes pretty hard to understand as well. So it doesn't solve the problem of complexity for reading code, for maintaining this, and so on, so on. Another problem is that when you have many changes in product, then it is probably the worst place to apply this vertical architecture structure, because of your domain layers are structured every time, every day, every hour, maybe. I'm not sure about hour, but yeah, okay, every day. Let's stop on every day. So when you have many changes in product, then this is the last thing you should implement, because vertical slices would make your life harder than easier. So yeah, think about it. Don't forget about that. And the third thing, when you have no understanding of domain layer, then it might be pretty hard to implement. And in best case, it would be, yeah, you're lucky, you're getting the point, and you do not need to refactor anything. But when you're in worst case, you need to refactor everything, and this is so painful. Yeah, I'm speaking right from based on my experience. That's really hurt. Okay, so what about the conclusions? The last section, I believe. Another quote from the architect. So he said that we can build our world brick by brick using this approach, and layers can help us to understand the meaning of every brick that we are trying to build, and we can assemble the connections between these bricks. So our framework should be pretty nicely designed, easily maintained, and actually easily to flexible, so on, so on. Yeah, so easy to maintain, easy to extensible. Okay, so yeah, that's it. One more time, my contacts. You can contact me, and yeah, thanks for attention, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Roman. Okay, yeah, I guess it's just a point to reconsider your test automation strategy. If it's optimal, maybe to do some improvements, right? Okay, yeah, if you have any questions, let's ask. Now we have no questions from online audience, so maybe here. Oh yeah, Aurora, right?
Hi, I saw on your presentation that you mentioned that this model shouldn't be used with products with a lot of changes. And what would you recommend for a product with a lot of changes then?
Try first with the horizontal layers, not providing the vertical. So yeah, the messing up is becoming when you have when you have exactly vertical slices. So when you have a horizontal ones, then it's okay. At least should be. Okay.
Okay, super. Any more? Oh yeah, Olga.
Did I get it right that we like should divide the functionality into like, for example, everything that's connected with login, everything that one slice, and everything that's connected with I don't know, some transaction, or if it's a bank application or something. For example, to buy something is another slice. Yes.
Yeah. So you can just think about it like a cake. So when you have a cake, you have several layers, and when you just cut it off, then you just only want to take one piece of that, not the whole thing. Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you very much. It was really interesting to listen to the presentation. One more question. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So you said that a programmer should know the application. Otherwise, it will be hard to like read the code.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it mean to know? It means exactly, you know, that we are like making bank application and we have like buy and sell and something like this. Like on that level, or what do you mean?
I think I was talking about domain layers. Yes. So if we talk, okay, problems. Let me see. Let me find these changes. Boom, 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 boom. Actions are independent. Too many dependencies. Yeah, lack of domain understanding. So if you're not sure about your domain area, so you cannot describe everything around your around your testers, around your customers, then maybe it is not a good idea to use it as approach, because you have a lot of changes. So we can go back to the number 2 point, when many changes is provided, but it is not provided by business, it is provided by you, because you were wrong about the domain layering, and you need to rethink about that and restructure it again. So it is related.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have a question from Tatiana.
First of all, thank you for your presentation. It was really interesting. You are a good speaker.
Thank you.
And I have a question. We heard about vertical slides, and you mentioned regarding horizontal slides. And what other strategy exist? Maybe you can recommend to read about some other strategies.
You mean other approaches of
Yes,
testing? Okay. So this is maybe. This question has always stuck me, because no problem, because this knowledge is pretty huge enough, and I just read about them, about domain models, about adapters representations approach, about the HTTP request handlers, page objects, API clients or services, about tests in different sources. And this is the result. This presentation is the result of my 10 years investigated job. So I cannot just answer you in one question or in one sentence. It is not possible. But yeah, maybe the most interesting for me, because I like very much these architecture team topics. So you can Google like layers architecture, vertical slices architecture, and maybe some kind of BDD approach. Unexpectedly.
Okay.
Yeah. So BDD have a more common.
I haven't heard regarding this approach before, so I'm just wondering what can be more like information.
Do you work as a developer?
As automation.
As automation. Okay,
Yeah, so
that's why you haven't heard.
This approach at vertical, but maybe it can be useful for us. Thank you so much.
I think so.
Yeah, thank you, Tatiana. Yeah, Roma, it's time to invite to your personal chat to share a bit more about different levels. Yeah, just to share your experience. Okay, any other questions? Oh yeah, super.
Hi, my name is Kate. I'd like to ask you if you would recommend this approach for a project where there are a lot of end-to-end tests. There are not much dependencies between models, but a lot of dependencies between tests, like some values. So maybe if this approach is actual for all the tests, like integration end-to-end, or you would recommend for some?
Sounds pretty typical and general for every test automation framework, but I would propose you to start with the investigation one your tests are dependent, because it is not a best practice. But anyway, if you have this, and you have some kind of you have an idea to refactor your framework to use the layers, then try to use the horizontal ones first. When you are ready with that, and when you think that this approach is working, try to divide it by verticals.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, super. One more. Okay, super. Looks like we have no questions from online audience. Okay, yeah, Roman, could you switch to the next slide?
Sure.
Yeah, this is a QR code. People from online, if here, if you have some, maybe 1 minute, it would be great to scan the code and leave feedback. Here inside the link, you can find 2 topics, and your feedback will be applied for both separately. So yeah, you're welcome to spend some time on that. Okay, I guess that's it. We can close the event. So for people who are online, thank you for attending. Thank you for watching here in the audience. Thank you for coming, of course. Yeah, we will do some informal part, but yeah, I guess we can close the broadcasting. I hope we can do that, right?
Maybe not we, but someone who is
somebody
in our team. Yeah.
Yeah, we are ready to finish. Okay. Super. Yeah, thank you, and see you soon.
Yeah, thank you for those who was online with us.